Right, so I have returned once again today to deliver another episode of Inuyashiki, this episode being episode 4. And if YouTube kicks in, it doesn't terrify me. I don't know why, through this system, I sound robotic. They actually sound that through OBS. It's really weird. I don't know. But anyway, right out of last week, the whole entirety of the episode really dealt with the idea of kind of the difference in character, really. It's what I kind of took away from the episode itself, is a difference in character, the kind of very, very apparent and very, very stark contrast between the characters. I mean, Ichiro is an amazing person, and Hiro is literally the worst person in the history of the planet. So yeah, it kind of painted those two like kind of contrasts pretty freaking damn well. It actually was extremely well done. So it actually was a shining example of how good the episode was last week. So hopefully, episode 4 continues in that vein. Actually delivers, say the word, a really freaking episode. So without further delay, let's actually get the show on the road. Right, that's good. We're good to go. We are good to go. Also realised this actually came an hour earlier today because in England the actual times have gone backwards. Is it backwards or forwards? No, backwards. So we get an extra hour. So everything's been kind of taken back an hour, which is kind of inherently annoying because your schedule kind of gets marked up a tiny weeny bit. But it's better, I think. It's better like that, I think. Anyway, so it starts the thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin now. Hold up a second. Has Amazon Prime screwed up the subtitles? Hold up. Let me refresh the page quickly and find out, because I think they actually might have mucked up the actual. That's weird. Happens to be the case. Hold up. Ah, there we are. Fixed it. Some odd reason the actual like later parts were coming in before the kind of earlier parts, so it was actually kind of screwing up slightly. But now it's fixed. So let's start this thing again in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin now. At least the actual subtitles are fixed now, because beforehand I was kind of saying, why the hell is it saying the word bang constantly? But it makes no sense. But it's because apparently Amazon Prime just screwed up the subtitles. Good Amazon Prime. Wait a minute. It's a dude we just saw in the opening. I just realised that. Am I just imagining things? Might just imagine that, but I could have sworn I just saw him in the opening just then. A very, very, very small shot of him. Why am I starting to fear the worst? I'm starting to fear the worst. I don't know why. Damn. Did you just come through a main artery? Looks as if she actually cut through the main artery just then. Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, he's here now. Thank the Lord, he's actually here. I was like, when is our hero going to appear? Lo and behold, he actually appears. So yeah, she did bring it back to life. His line delivery is amazing. Like, it's one of the things I always note about his characters, the line delivery that he always does. It's absolutely impeccable. The fact is, it's actually his second voice acting role as well. Not too sure he's on live action beforehand, but this is actually his second. It's actually his second voice acting role. But line delivery is impeccable. It makes him completely more believable, if you get what I mean. I said it once. I said it once beforehand. I say it again. The actual line delivery in the show is absolutely amazing when it comes to both leads. They do some impeccable line delivery. I must say the show's going from strength to strength actually when it comes to characterization. Like it actually really is doing a great job actually kind of solidifying Ichiro as this kind of this in a way angel. Like it's really nicely done. It just made his whole entire character is so believable, which makes the whole entire experience even like kind of better to actually watch him just go and save the people he wants to save. It's just for that reason alone, the show is actually worth watching just because of him and how great of a character he actually really is. Right. So that's episode done actually. That's episode 4 done. Right. So I must say, what that episode did actually in theory was kind of in a way world build. It kind of fleshed out the world even more than what was already kind of shown already. Because beforehand, you kind of gather there's a sense of evil in the world itself. It isn't as if it's like kind of very not actually shown. It's not shown technically, but you kind of get a gist for it because it's a world. It's a world just like ours. So you imagine there's actually evil in the world. But this episode actually kind of fleshed out the point to where you just know there is evil beyond evil. Like there's evil beyond the point of just no return. It was actually kind of shown very, very, very kind of graphically in this episode. It's actually kind of to the point I was like, damn, this is a very hard show to watch, I must say. It's not one of those ones that I can honestly say it's for the kind of the faint of hearted, because it does very much tackle certain things that are kind of very, very disturbing. The kind of like to the point I was like, damn, what? It's like it kind of I wasn't expecting the show to go to these kind of places, but it is. But it's exploring these kind of ideas because it's kind of showing you there's this sense of evil, this sense of kind of you're never ever kind of in a safe place, because this whole entire couple that we got introduced to this episode were very seemingly normal. They had nothing that we could honestly say was ever wrong with them. They were kind of very nice people. They're very normal, and just like that, the whole entire world gets completely shaken up. It just kind of tells you that there's no sense of safety in this world, but at the same time, there's always this kind of silver lining somewhere, and Ichiro is that silver lining. He's kind of that character who went there and saved them. And it was actually kind of one of those things. I thought Ichiro's character was brilliant in this episode because he really kind of just became the hero, if you get what I mean. He became the hero, though I still imagine there's a sense of kind of progression in his character. There isn't kind of this sense that it's all over just yet for his character. I feel as if there's certainly some more development going on, because I would honestly say it's actually kind of one of those ones that you sense is actually a hero's journey within the storyline. So it's probably still kind of a lot more ground that needs to be covered with his character. So he hasn't kind of become the fully fledged hero as such, as you would imagine, like, I don't know, anyone from the DC or Marvel kind of universe. And he's not like that kind of hero. He's still got a progression to go towards. But we're just seeing that, and it's kind of organically grown. Just that whole entire line, as he said after when he woke up, it just kind of hits you hard, because you just know that he wants to do good. He wants to save people. He wants to kind of rid the world of evil. And it kind of, he becomes one of the more believable heroes you've seen in quite a long time, because again, certainly it is kind of hard to make a character who's kind of believable in the sense of a hero, because a hero can in theory just be kind of very generic, very kind of archetypal. But his one, it kind of seems as if he's drifting away from that area. He isn't kind of drifting into the archetypal hero that you see everywhere else in other kind of mediums, which is actually kind of good, because if he happened to be the kind of character we've seen beforehand, I don't know whether or not there'd actually be more emotional attachment towards him, because you would know there isn't a sense of kind of peril towards his character. You wouldn't kind of feel that more attachment, because he kind of is a lot more believable, a lot more kind of down to earth, a lot more kind of, in a way, human. It just kind of makes his character ever more better to actually watch and then go and save people. That's why I kind of liked about his character, which I'd imagine is probably going to be a complete antithesis, but also explored the same way with Hero's character as well when it comes to the villainous-esque nature of his character. But at the same time, it's one of the more things I actually kind of like about that episode. It fleshed the world out. It kind of made you go, okay, well, Hero isn't just the most evil person on the planet. There is certainly even worse than him. So it's one of those things you kind of just go, damn. So it's one of those things that kind of just tells you that there actually is a world beyond what we've seen already. There's actually kind of a lot more going on than what we already know, which is actually kind of neat, because again, you could in theory just kind of go forward with them kind of incidentally meeting into each other, actually them fighting. In theory, then that could have been a good show, because it can in theory be a good show. You can just have them in theory just meeting one another constantly, actually kind of just seeing what else one can do with the other, and in the end then culminating to a fight. But if you take the kind of limelight away from certain characters and allow other characters to kind of become like a center point, it makes the entire world feel a little bit more kind of better to watch. It kind of makes it feel a bit more organic. It makes it feel a little bit more realistic, because now you're kind of gathering there's a lot more going on than what we actually imagined, especially without Hero actually being there, because it's one of those things. It's one of those things that even when Hero wasn't there, you just know there is this sense of evil now. Like, it's one of those things. This episode actually really kind of just exemplified that idea. The idea that even when the hero is not there, it's not as if there's actually kind of nothing going on. There's always a sense of evil, which is kind of one of the more neat things the show did. I thought, okay, within theory, you could have just dedicated the episode to something completely different. You didn't. You gave it to something else that was kind of, in a way that now I see it, very vital towards the anime as a whole and towards the narrative as a whole. So good job on that front, because otherwise we could have just gone through this whole entire show with just them two characters fighting one another, kind of getting into kind of rough ups here and there. But no, you took the lineup with your hero's character for a week and actually allowed it to go to someone else who's even more kind of deplorable, even more kind of beyond the words of evil, beyond all literal words of that appear in dictionary when it comes to the word evil. You actually kind of give it to him, and it's actually one of those things that just fleshes the world out, and it kind of makes you realize that, god damn, this world is actually a lot worse than you actually imagine. And it kind of makes you realize you want to see this world kind of rid of the evil. It's actually one of the other things it kind of does. It makes you want to go, okay, then this world has to be kind of, in a way, safe from this evil. Then it kind of makes Ichiro's character kind of even more, in a way, believable. It actually makes you want to see his actual entire character arc out into the end, and actually kind of then see him actually kind of, in a way, possibly, not kind of completely, but in theory, just kind of rid the world of certain evil and actually kind of allow it to be a little bit more safer for people to actually live. But yeah, I mean, this episode was very hard to watch. That's what I'm trying to get at. This episode was not a kind of an episode I would say is actually kind of for the faint of heart. This whole entire show is not really for that either. But it's kind of a very hard episode to watch. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I thought, okay, it's actually kind of allowing the world to be fleshed out, which is actually kind of a thing that would actually otherwise be needed in a show like this. So I don't know. I want to see what what else this show can do in theory, because this show's got a lot going for it. I think, in essence, there's a lot in this show that kind of shines out to be brilliant. In essence, the whole entire characterization, the idea of how this world actually works, the idea of how the powers then work, because when Ichiro was trying to bring back the soon-to-be husband back to life, it was kind of very heartbreaking, because you realize that his powers cannot save that person who's already dead. It kind of is heartbreaking that way, because you really want him to bring him back to life, but then at the same time, what that does is it kind of makes you realize the limitation towards his powers, which is actually kind of neat as well, because if he actually was able to bring the dead back to life, there wouldn't in theory ever be kind of any fear, because if he didn't manage to save someone, then in theory he actually could just go in and bring that to life. At the same time, it would have been actually evident in episode 2 if that was the case. But you know what I mean. It was still kind of heartbreaking, because you realize his powers have limitations, but at the same time, it doesn't kind of turn it into a kind of a pseudo Deus Ex Machina, if you get what I mean. Like, in essence, if something happened, you can just go like that and actually bring them back, in essence, and it kind of just destroys any kind of tension, because now you realize that he has to go and save those people. But one of the other things that I would want to note about this episode and how well it was actually kind of constructed was the fact that you didn't know that Ichiro was there the whole entire time. Like, in essence, you didn't even really know that he was actually going to swoop in. Like, you kind of thought to yourself he might appear, but the way the show actually did it was really well done, because it kind of made you realize that he's not there, and it kind of was in theory a neat idea, because if he could just hear him, if it cut to a scene of him, and it was just like him hearing that, it wouldn't be bad. But the fact is, because there was no indication of him actually being in that said vicinity, it actually kind of added to the tension itself, because you want him to come in and actually kind of save the day. And actually, when he did, you're like, oh my god, thank God you're here. It's one of those things. It was really well done for that reason. That's why I can't like this episode as well. The fact that when I said, oh my god, he's actually here, thank the Lord, because it's true. Because you didn't know he was ever going to appear, but you you might in theory, like at the back of your brain, go, yeah, he's gonna appear at one point. But the way it was done, it's structured brilliantly, because it kind of made you realize that he's always not present in all the scenes themselves. It's actually kind of neat for that reason. So on that part, good job, because I was like, okay, I thought, because I don't know if Ichiro was there the whole entire time, would it have the same impact? I'm not too sure. I don't know. I thought the way it structured it was actually kind of nice as well. It was kind of a nicely structured episode, because it's kind of like a pseudo condensed storyline, but in theory it kind of elevated the world itself, and actually kind of in theory built upon a narrative that's already been present. Actually, also in theory then builds upon the characters themselves that are already present in the world. So going forward, so about almost, I would say, wait, we're on episode 5 after this week, so episode 5. So we're about halfway through the series. So really, what I want to kind of see from the series now going forward is kind of just some more context on certain other characters, in essence, because Ichiro's character is pretty much fleshed out at this point, but there's still some grounds to cover with him, which I'm kind of seeing. So he's not as if he's kind of fully fleshed out, but in essence, he's kind of fleshed out enough. So hopefully we kind of just get that context on Hiro's character, the one I've been talking about since episode 2. So hopefully we actually get that as time goes on, because again, there seems to be something going on there. Like, there's something going on behind closed doors, and what we're getting right now, which actually then leads to kind of a mystery behind it all, which it kind of actually works in its favor in certain cases, because you want to see that mystery solved. You want to see what's going on there. You want to see what this anger comes from. So in that reason, it's actually kind of neat. But hopefully at one point with episode 6, I'd imagine it probably answered the question, is what's really going on with Hiro's character, because again, there's got to be something going on there. Like, it's kind of foreshadowed in a way. Like, it's kind of just shown as foreshadowing to the idea. But I'm gathering the idea that possibly with episode 6 we might actually get that full confirmation of the character, which then kind of adds some more context to his character. Actually, then fleshes him out slightly more than beforehand. It doesn't make his actions any less deplorable, but it kind of makes him kind of in a way just feel a little bit more human, if you get what I mean. It kind of makes him doesn't ever feel like as if he's just kind of. It doesn't feel like as if he's actually just kind of fought out of the air, if you get what I mean. Certain times you get those evil villains which kind of, they just don't work to the world they're actually present in. But hopefully we get that kind of context with his character, which is the only thing I fear about this show. So at certain times, it's kind of Hiro's character. Like it's kind of they're playing his character. They're playing his character as to be the worst person in the history of the world, which is actually really well done because they are already doing it. But certainly there is still some kind of grounds to cover with his character, which actually probably be as the weeks go on. So I don't know. I imagine by the end of the show, actually might turn out to be about a 9 out of 10 show. Because it has its it actually has its shines and its brilliance-ness in the show. But I always find there's certainly some kind of flaws here and there, but it's actually just kind of minimal to the point it doesn't actually really doesn't really diminish the overall experience. You get what I mean? So I don't know. Hopefully the show actually becomes something special by the end of it. I hope so, at least. So anyway, with all that said, I have indeed been the driver. If you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole, and you do leave a like, then do leave a like because indeed it does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, and you want to stay a little bit longer, then do leave a sub because indeed it does help me quite a bit. But until tomorrow's Friday, isn't it? Tomorrow's Friday, till tomorrow, Kino's Journey, if I'm actually available. I actually have zero idea about uni will actually kind of consume my life once again. Until then, see you guys later. Bye for now.